Rebels.com joined by Ryan Davis, co-defensive coordinator at Woodward Academy, secondary coach, a guy I've known for a very long time, comes out of Columbus, Georgia, DB, University of Georgia. Ryan, first of all, thanks for your time, man. I know you guys, you cover the recruiting as well at Woodward Academy, so we talk a lot and have a lot of interaction over the years. And, last year was Mike Wright, kind of the lead guy. This year, Khari Gee. Others will follow in the 21 class with Power 5 offers. Next year, Damari Alston. The list kind of goes on. You guys always having talent. But today is about Khari Gee, just committed to LSU. You coach him firsthand, secondary coach. You've seen him grow, develop as a player. Talk to the LSU fans about what they're getting as a DB in Khari.
Well, the first thing about Khari, he's a great young man. I've been knowing him for a very long time, probably since he was in middle school. I think I had him in class, actually. But him on the field, he brings, the new term, I guess, is physicality. So he brings physicality to the game as a safety position. So he can be in the box. He can play at the line of scrimmage as well as he can play a halves. He can play a free. He's a jack of many trades, and he does it very well. But I think the physicalness is what attracted him, or what attracted LSU to him. He's a lot like the kid they just had drafted, Grant Delpert. He's physical. He come down, make plays in the box. So I think they're going to get a very, very good player. I think his best football is in front of him. He's developed as a young man. So I'm excited about his transition once he gets done with us over to LSU. So it'll be exciting to see, what he gets when he gets there and gets with a wheel rate program and, puts on some weight, and, he could truly be a freak, the next freak of the DBs that come out of LSU.
Yeah, I talked about him being just a natural athlete with so much room to grow physically, just body-wise. He's a former, baseball guy. He was all in at one time with baseball and then kind of committed himself to football a couple of years ago. So I think, like you said, his best football is definitely ahead of him. Is there any area or two that he can work on still, obviously, as a senior at Woodward Academy and then going into LSU as a DB?
Well, I think for him, I think what he needs to work on is what he is working on. He needs to continue to get stronger in the weight room, which, that's where kids just have to develop and grow. And then, just football, footwork, things with the DB, to help him be more natural back there. But he's been working there. I know he's been training with Justin Miller, so that guy typically does a good job with the DB. So, the things he needs to be working on are the things he's working on, just, getting stronger and continue to get his feet right and train his eyes and things like that to help him, transition to the next level.
Yeah, I'll give Justin a shout out. He's quite a few guys training with Justin, training with Jay. If you don't know, in Atlanta, he's got quite a few of the top DBs right now in the metro area for sure. Khari being one of those guys. Are you surprised at all, Ryan, kind of seeing where he's come over the last 18 months or so to become this national recruit? We were talking about him, a year or two ago. Yeah. He took off a few months ago with offers coming in, January, February. And now here we are, mid-May. He's committed to one of the top programs in the country. Are you surprised to see him as a recruit, come this far?
Well, what I'm surprised to see is just how fast it picked up for him. I remember talking to him and we'll take it back to when he was in the 9th grade. Like you mentioned, he was kind of torn between baseball. He dabbled with basketball. I know at one point he was playing golf. And, it was somewhere about his 10th grade year, we said, dude, you can be as good as you want to be if you just commit to this thing. So, I think it was the playoff game against Carver Columbus. He had 2 interceptions and a bunch of tackles. And from that point on, I think his focus switched from all those other things to what's really going to pay the bills, which is football. So as he progressed throughout the year, he became physical. He showed that we can trust him at the line of scrimmage, taking on blockers. We did a lot of stuff this year where we sent him off the edge. Just as that, and talking to a lot of college coaches with his size being 6'3", about 190, a lot of people pegged him as one of the bigger DBs in the state. So that made him a lot more attractive to schools. And, as you see, LSU, became the final choice. So, I wasn't really surprised that, his development, because we saw that in him. We knew he could do it. But once he committed to it, I was surprised to see how fast it just took off for him. But, they're getting a good one. So. I can't complain.
No doubt. He made the right choice, obviously. Not to say he wasn't good at golf or basketball or baseball. I was
Right.
actually at his house over the weekend doing, pre-commitment stuff with him. He still had that throwback net in the backyard. So I'm not sure if he's getting up on baseball just yet completely. But let's, finishing up with you, Ryan. I mean, thanks for your time again. But a little insight about, Khari off the field. What's he like day to day, in the hallway, away from football? Give us some insight about him as a student, as a person.
Well, he's a very good student. One thing about him, he's very humble, very quiet. He's not a big rah-rah type guy. He's very calm and about his business, very mature for his age. So, with this whole football recruitment thing, and the things like that, it just showed that, the kid is very mature. He handled this whole recruitment situation very well. You never saw him really super being flashy, or he didn't fall in love with the whole everybody wants to be recruited, but he didn't fall in love with the whole recruiting process. They did it the right way. Him and his parents, they raised him well, so they went and saw places, did their research, but when it's all said and done, he's a really good kid. He's focused, he's driven, he's motivated. And like I said earlier in the interview, his best football is in front of him. So the type of kid they're getting, he'll take care of business in the classroom, and then he'll take care of business on the field. So that's just the type of kid he is, well liked by his peers, well liked by his teachers. Just a good, all-around great kid,
Now, you mentioned him with his family taking visits and doing their homework. I mean, one thing I mentioned in my story when he committed, the commitment story is, you guys are about as close to college as you can get in a high school in Georgia. I mean, you guys are on the college or even pre-spring break. I mean, I think that was a key for LSU, him getting that spring break in before the coronavirus kind of shut things down for most in Georgia. He tripped to Oregon, tripped to LSU, and here we are now. 2 months later, he's committed to LSU. So I think that early spring break, being at a place like Woodward Academy, played a big role in LSU landing, Khari Gee. LSU beat out Clemson again. I'll be back to your school, I'm sure, soon as we can anyway, Ryan. Obviously, you got guys coming behind Khari Gee in this class, the next class, and even looking down the road further. But again, thanks so much for your time and your insight on the new LSU commit, Khari Gee.
Thanks so much, Chad. Y'all continue to stay safe, man.
Same to you.